Hold on a second. Hold on. Hello, and welcome. Jeez, Louise, hold on a second. Sorry about that. How are you? It's today Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to ya. Happy Wednesday to ya. Happy Wednesday. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe it is Wednesday already. Oh my gosh. Jeez, Louise. I'm telling you, I think I've had one of the busiest days that I've had in a very long time. So I see you guys, my friends in the chat. How are you? How are you? All right, so tonight we are talking about, it's funny to say night because it's like still daytime outside, right? But tonight we are talking about all things menopause, perimenopause, and we're talking about how it affects your weight, how it affects your quality of life. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. So let me put my little topic up here. I like to stay organized. All right, so your GLP-1 didn't stop working. Menopause changed the game. And I think that can relate to a lot of people I'm hearing in our community talking about that sort of thing with the whole menopause of it all. So I'm just going to start off by saying, telling you what perimenopause is, what menopause is, and asking you, which stage do you think you are in? So if you are perimenopausal, that means you are in the transition leading up to menopause. Your hormones, this is a big thing. The hormones are fluctuating and they're going up and down. They're unpredictable. And this is one of the reasons doctors don't really want to test you and test where your hormones are, because they say they fluctuate so often. This is why they treat you based on your symptoms. Hold on a sec. So that is perimenopause. All right, so menopause, which we're kind of going to focus on today, is when you've officially reached the point where you've gone 12 consecutive months without a cycle. I like to say cycle. After that, you're considered postmenopausal. And so if you have been watching my videos and keeping up with my story, you know I'm postmenopausal. I'm postmenopausal. And you know what? I'm so excited to be postmenopausal. And people always ask me, like, why am I so happy about it? Why am I so excited? I don't consider it like a loss, like I lost something. I consider it a new chapter in my life, kind of like turning 50, like the next chapter. And I also think, first of all, a lot of people don't make it to be, menopausal, postmenopausal. People, there's that. And then also, I think, your mindset has to shift where you're thinking about it as a new chapter, a positive chapter. But I'm going to be honest, the biggest reason why I'm excited because I don't have a cycle. No more cycle. I'm excited about that. I just think having a cycle was not great for me. I mean, my body went through a lot of changes when that every 28 days, and I could not stand it. And I feel cleaner now. I feel like free. I have a little bit more change in my pocket because, not for nothing, you got to buy that feminine care. Yeah, I just love the freedom of it all. Like I feel cleaner. I don't know. Is that a thing? Am I the only one who feels that way? So being postmenopausal for me was it's a big deal, and I'm excited about it. And I just kind of have embraced it. I don't feel terrible about it, but I realized, I just kind of like walked on in right to it. I didn't have like a surgical reason, which I know some people surgically are put into menopause. Some people, have lots of, serious cramping. Some people have lots of blood clots. There's a lot that goes on with that menopause and perimenopause, and, people having PCOS, and I know they renamed it something else now, but all those things could go on when you are, in the midst of becoming a woman. I feel like that's another thing. I feel like I'm a full-blown woman. So I love that for myself. So for me, I have just embraced it. And I just think it has made all the difference. I'm walking in my, if that's a thing, straightening your heels into menopause. That's what I consider myself doing with my crown and everything. Remember that we had that live where we talked about the idea of being in menopause and being postmenopausal. I think everybody on my panel was postmenopausal. So I love that. And today we're going to focus a little bit more on the menopause of it all, because that's the stage I'm in. But if you are in perimenopause and you're in this chat, or if somebody's scrolling by and watching, or happen to be catching the replay and you're in perimenopause, a lot of the symptoms kind of overlap. If you're going through one thing, you're probably going, you're headed toward the other. The symptoms are not that different. The big difference is, and I'm going to tell you the big difference between perimenopause and menopause. So what makes perimenopause unique is your hormones are like in a roller coaster. I love a good analogy. It's like in a roller coaster. Your estrogen levels could be high one month, they could be low the next month, and it makes your symptoms kind of unpredictable. So that's the difference. Whereas if you're in menopause, what makes menopause unique is that the hormones are no longer fluctuating all over the place. They're generally low, and guess what? They stay low. How low can you go? How low can you go? And your symptoms are related to that lack of estrogen, right? Estrogen is huge. It plays a huge role in our body. And once that's depleted or very low, then we start having all these things go on. And I'm going to tell you, in 2023, when I had my estrogen levels checked, it was at did I say a 29? I think I said 29. It was at a 29. I know it was 20 something. I want to say it was 29. But I got, I started taking that, the treatment. I used my Eva Mist. I'm gonna have to go get that. I didn't bring my Eva Mist box out here. So I started to get the treatment for my symptoms. And I will talk about the symptoms of it all a little bit later, but I got a treatment plan for it. I'll have somebody come on here in a little bit and talk about some of your treatment options. We're going to talk about HRT and BHRT, but remember, we're not doctors. We're just giving our opinions based on our experience. We're not giving advice. We're not saying what you should do. We're just going to be telling you what we did and what's working for us. So I just want you to kind of remember that, and don't take advice from a lady off the internet, something this serious. I'm telling you, you need whatever we say. If it sounds great to you, write it down, jot it down, print it out, whatever you need to do, and go see a doctor. Go to the doctor. I always love telling people to go to the doctor because I do think that's so important. So, all right. So there's that. So that's just kind of like the foundation of what we're talking about. So I want to know from you guys, do you think you're in the perimenopause phase, or are you in menopause or postmenopausal? Now, if you're postmenopausal, like Didi, I'm postmenopausal, that means I 12 consecutive months with no cycle, and now I'm just living my life like it's golden, I'm Jill Scotting it up in here. So what stage are you guys at? Are you telling me in the chat? I don't know. Let me see. All right, so we got Cookie. I just saw her name flash by. Mail to the B was in here earlier. Good evening, Dee and friends. She says happy hump day. Very good. And then some people might be in that mobile chat. We got who else is in here? Keisha. How are you, Keisha? I said Cookie. We got Nancy. How are you? How are you, Nancy? We got She is Tamika. How are you? We got Carla. Hey, Carla. How are you? Who else do we have in here? I don't want to miss anybody. I'm scrolling fast. We got Reset with Anissa. How are you? We got Jamie. How are you, Jamie? Who else do we have? Jazzy. How are you? How are you? Don't forget, yes, postmenopausal. That's me, Carla. I can't forget about that. And thank you, Mel, for putting that in there. Downsizing Divas content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as medical advice, diagnosis, or a treatment. Consult a qualified medical doctor with any medical conditions that you may have. So we love that. And she said, I know that's right, Dee Dee. Love that. Happy Wednesday, Purple Bellflower, my twin. How are you? We got my girl M to the V to the P. How are you? She says, hope everyone is having a great week. Mel put that back in the chat. Cheryl, how are you? It's good to see you. You said, I agree. New chapter and don't miss Shark Bite. No, absolutely not. So Cheryl says she has hot flashes, night sweats, she gets brain fog and weight gain. It sounds like we're 20 because those were some of the things I had. Now I'm going to tell you, the flashes, I don't know. I did get hot flashes. It's a lot better. I could tell because remember I was on this live stream, like, turn on that fan and taking stuff off. And I was always talking about it. So it has improved. I will say that. But the lights of it all, the lights, the camera, the action. I'm trying to stay in a certain angle. Okay. So the lights, the camera, action of it all, that's a thing, right? Where, it just, you get hot under these hot lights. But that was something. Now, night sweats, I never really had night sweats to that degree. I hear people talk about they have these hot flashes where they get so worked up, they get so hot, they got to start coming out of stuff. I never had it that severe. And night sweats, I never woke up in a night sweat. I woke up kind of warm sometimes, but it's always if I didn't have on the air conditioning or, people say like no matter what condition your home is, when you have these night sweats, like a night sweat when you get a menopause or a perimenopause night sweat. So I wouldn't consider myself that. But I think we need to talk about some of the side effects and symptoms, I should say, of menopause and perimenopause that people always associated with those ones, Cheryl. The brain fog is huge. I was getting brain fog. And as a teacher, getting brain fog, that's not a good thing. I think I was having like some mood swings. Like I just did not want to be bothered. And I thought, I've never been a person who thought I was depressed ever, but I just thought I got to the point where I didn't want to be around people. And I was always associating that with like my weight, like wanting to be antisocial and not socialize because of my weight. But now that I see what the symptoms are, I think a lot of it was I was losing that estrogen. I mean, 29, that's how low can you go? Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low. So nobody had to tell my estrogen that because that baby was low. And so, so no wonder I was having all those things go on. And then I also think, of course, we know that weight gain is a serious thing, right? When you are, going through menopause and perimenopause. And actually, perimenopause, you start to gain the weight, which a lot of us have noticed. We got a little rounder, especially if you were tight and right. And then all of a sudden, you started gaining weight and you couldn't really explain it. It probably was perimenopause. But menopause is specifically when you start gaining that weight around your belly. And I'm telling you, my belly is holding on to this fat for dear life. Everywhere else can go. My face might bloat up sometimes, but it'll take that weight right back off. My legs, my ankles, sometimes it might bloat up if I got a little bit inflammation going on, but it'll come down all the way down. But this belly is holding on for dear life. So there's that, right? I just think that, you got to work super hard. So thank God for the GLP-1s. The GLP-1s are swooping in like Superman. And it's like the kryptonite to this menopause and the fat for some of us. Now, everybody, I always say, if it's something that's going to go wrong, it's going to be probably with me. So what works for 100 people, I'm going to be that one outlier that it's not going to necessarily probably work for the first time. I feel like I'm like a tough case. But it is what it is. I'm kind of used to being that tough case. They needed to put me in the Eli Lilly study. So I don't know if they have a study coming up where I could get in on it. Is that a thing? Because I need to be in on it. Tanya, how are you? She says, hello, everyone. Vivi, how are you? How are you? Okay. So Cheryl says, what is Cheryl saying? No, in full menopause since 2021, you took a test. Very good. All right, so you're postmenopausal, perimenopausal. Okay, we got a lot of these friends. Perimenopausal. Okay, we got another one. Postmenopausal. Tangy, how are you? Okay, very good. So you're postmenopausal at 55. 55. I love that. At 55, it's like that golden age, like you're right in the middle. Very good. Let's see. Jay to the C. How are you? She said, "Hey, Dee Divas and Divos, you're multitasking but listening. We are doing great over here, talking about this perimenopause and menopause. I know you're busy, but what's your status? If you don't mind sharing, JC. Not quite perimenopausal, but I'm here to collect all the wisdom and pack it away later for when I need it. Excellent. We love that. But I wonder, Tangi, if you're having some of these symptoms, I'm going to show you and share what those are. Let's see. Cheryl is dropping some gems. She says, "Hey everyone, next month, July 1st, Medicare is going to pay for GLP-1. We only pay $50 a month." Excellent job. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I don't think I qualify because I'm 53. I'm retired at 53. So I don't think I'm not on, you said Medicare? Yeah, I'm not, I don't think I could qualify for that, right? Because I'm still young on the younger side. That's right. So anytime somebody call me an old lady, I'm going to say, I don't get the old lady benefits, but I do have, and I keep forgetting to use it. Where can you use this at? I do have an AA, is it ARP or AARP? I do have an AARP card, and I was proud when I got it, but I don't use it places. Can you get coffee? Do you get discounts? I need to figure that out. So I'm old enough to get that card because I think you got to be 50 plus, but I'm not old enough to get some of these, benefits when you get older. It's like, to withdraw some of my retirement money. I got to be 59 and a half or I pay a stiff penalty. So guess what? It's staying in that nest egg. So I'm 59 and a half. And then, to get Social Security, it's pros and cons to when to do all that. So it's just a lot that goes on. When I tell you I've been busier in retirement with my change in insurance and trying to figure all this out and signing up for this and enrolling for that, it's just been, oh my gosh, a lot of work. Geez, Louise, I should be getting paid for that. All right, Dee, how are you? How are you? Very good. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of these symptoms and we're going to talk about it. You know what, Pam, Pam, how are you? I was just visiting with this, I had an appointment with someone, and this guy was from Texas. And I was like, why would you move from Texas to Ohio? And he moved from Texas to Ohio. Not that anything's wrong with Ohio. I love Ohio, but I mean, Texas is like the grand old Texas, right? And you don't hear that a lot. People are moving to Texas, not from Texas. I don't hear that a lot. I'm sure there are, but I just don't hear it. But anyway, he was moving to be closer to his kids. So I get that. All right, wait a second. Who is this up in your picture? Pep with Pam. Who is that? Looking good. Okay. And then you got the red lip. That's always going to attract me to that picture is a red lip. All right. Let's see. Purple Bellflowers. She said she doesn't know her label, but I'm menopausal. Well, I'm going to tell you, your label is not that hard to figure out. If you have gone 12 consecutive months with no cycle, you're menopause, you're postmenopausal. You went through menopause and you're postmenopausal. Now, when you're going through that process of not having the cycle, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember 6 months, I was like, dang, no cycle. That's going through the change. Now, I know people who have gone all the way to 364 days. And no, I'm not Portia from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I know that it's 365 days in a year. So 364 days. And they thought they were going to be saved and declared that they were in menopause or had gone through menopause. And guess what? They said, go see the doctor. You're starting over. They had to start over. Isn't that about a blimp? Geez, Louise. And I thought that was going to be me. So I'm going to tell you, if you are somebody who you went through all this time, and then you 12 months, and then on that 12th month, the day of that 12th month, which, you got to get through that day. And then that next day, if you start spotting, so if you're somebody who went through all that, you start spotting, go and see the doctor. I know so many women who say, I'm spotting, but it's just a little bit. We don't spot just a little bit. You got to actually go and check it out. And I say that, with this instance, because when people sometimes say that, like me, I was saying that too, like, what if I got a little, like I remember on that 12th day, that 12th month, I got a little bit of spotting, going on. And somebody was like, that is not cool. That's not normal. You need to go to the doctor. And I had, read up on it and knew I needed to go to the doctor. So I went to my doctor. Everything was fine. I had a biopsy and everything because I was worried. I was thinking like, dang, I go all this time and like right at the edge. So I just think, a lot of times, and I was having this conversation with somebody, a lot of times women, and especially men are famous for it, but women also, and not all men, because there are outliers out there, but a lot of times we don't want to go to the doctor. I know a lot of men who say, oh, I was fine until I went to the doctor. Well, you really weren't fine. They just diagnosed what you've been avoiding all this time. And then they start saying, when the symptoms come up or whatever they, were diagnosed with, they were like, yeah, I felt that. Yeah, I felt that. It wasn't that bad. So I just want us to, when things don't add up, when 2 + 2 is not 4, if 2 + 2 is 3.5, go see that doctor. If 2 + 2 is 3.99, go see that doctor. 3.99. No, 2 + 2 always has to be 4. If it's not, you got to go see the doctor. So that's just my message to you. So really, everybody should have some sort. If you're not perimenopausal, you should be. Then you haven't started your process yet. But I guess they go off the symptoms. But if you got your numbers checked, that to me that gives you a little bit more clarity because there's a range, right? There's a range, when somebody's perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal. Those ranges, and they can vary from person to person, lady to lady. And those ranges will also let you know what state you're in. So if you get some test work done and they give you some numbers that you don't understand, call that office up, text your doctor, email your doctor, whatever you do to contact your doctor or the doctor's office and say, explain these results to me. So I feel like I've been chatting it up. Okay, well, let's see. Okay. So people are telling me their symptoms. Okay. So Tamika says she woke up drenched like a heat wave took over my body. I've heard that. I don't know why I haven't had a situation like that. Not that I want it, but wow. So what did you do? And how often does that happen? Sweet Bee said, hi, Dee in chat. Last work meeting ran over. Glad to be able to join. Glad to see you. Sweet Bee. I love saying those names. Okay, so BB, she's having mood swings, emotional, crying for days, hot and sweaty, insomnia. It sounds like you are perimenopausal, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing you, my friend. I'm just saying. But geez, Louise, those are some typical ones. And the emotions of it all. I kind of liken mine to like the mood swings. Like the mood swings are a thing. And you know what? A lot of times we get a bad rap for having mood swings. We're like what name they call us. We don't want to use that name, but we're called the B word. We're called emotional. We can't control our emotions, and especially women leaders. They get it bad anytime they show emotion, or I should say we, because I've been in a leadership position too. And anytime you show that emotion, but guess what? A lot of us can't control it because of our hormones. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And I didn't realize that when I was in leadership positions. I didn't really know a lot about the hormones of it all, or estrogen, or any of that. And one thing I did learn early on when I started my GLP-1, that did you guys know, and Phoebe, I don't know if you could check into this too, but do you know that you could you could go and you could use your FMLA, like to take a leave if your menopause symptoms are so bad. It's kind of like considered what they would call like a disability. If your symptoms are so bad that it's affecting your day-to-day life. Now, it says this in the law. If it's affecting your day-to-day life, your ability to work, you can get time off. Did you guys know that? You can. Hopefully you have a job or a boss, or you work for people that respect that, because I would imagine some bosses may give you a pushback, but if you're a good employee, if you're responsible, if you're experienced this, your doctor could write a note, and then there really is nothing they can do. If your doctor is writing a note and saying, they need time off for this reason or that reason. But it can't just be like, oh, willy-nilly. It has to really have some teeth to it. So I think that's worth pursuing if somebody is to the point where, because if you have brain fog and mood swings, I'm sure that's affecting not just your home life, but your work life. And I know for me, I was forgetting stuff. And, I'm known to have a good memory. And I was forgetting stuff. And I just chalked it up to old age. Now I know it's not just that I was older. So there's that. All right. So what are you guys saying? Let's see. Everyone, my doctor got some samples of Zepbound pills, so I'm going to pick it up. Wait. I will start on the shot next time. What are Zepbound pills? Am I confused? Okay, guys, did I miss? Oh, Cheryl, what are Zepbound pills? Oh, the new pill. Are you talking about Froggy or Forglipron? Are you talking about that? Jeez, Louise. Mia, is that Mia? How are you? I thought I saw your name, Mia. Wait a second. Some of these, I'm scrolling down. Some of these, I don't understand this. Okay. All right, here you go. Mia! How are you? Mia, looking good. Jeez Louise, you're looking slim and trim over there. Look at Mia. Oh my goodness. I love seeing the profile pics of it all. Okay, so insomnia is too much. Yes. So also sleep is a good, did Vivi say the sleep too? Or was that Tamika? Okay, Vivi did say insomnia. Insomnia is a huge one. I think a lot of people don't connect the dots with that. We know sleep is so important. Your cortisol levels are going to go up. I know you guys, if you're watching my videos, I'm talking about all this stuff, but I know this stuff. I'm telling you, insomnia is going to make you, when you're not sleeping, what are you doing? And you're probably scrolling on the internet, which is early in the morning. That's not good for your brain, right? When you're not sleeping. If you're up cleaning and moving, that's probably the best thing you could do. Sometimes people clean or organize because you're moving, right? All the movement counts. But a lot of us are either eating, we're scrolling on that internet, we're watching TV, watching Netflix. Are you watching some Netflix? So those sorts of things, which is not great, right? When we should be sleeping. And those stress hormones are just going to get us off track. And we're going to hold on to that fat. And where is that fat going to really hold on to us at? Our bellies, right? The belly fat. So that's why we got to get sleep. And one thing I'm going to give myself credit for is I prioritize that sleep. So I'm going to show you guys last night. Now, you know what I think about this situation with the sleep and tracking the sleep is, I don't think my tracker, and not just my tracker, I hear a lot of them are like this, but sometimes I get my daughter up to go to the bathroom, especially, oh, look at my steps for the day. Dun, 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 dun. I got those 7,000 steps in. But sometimes my daughter, if she's drank lemonade or something, oh, look at this, you guys. Oh, okay. All right, so here's my sleep from last night. Oh, they're telling me about Bitcoin. I track the Bitcoin of it all. Okay, so okay, here's my sleep. Did you guys see that? Okay, 7 hours. I got 7 hours last night. Now I'm going to tell you, I got more than 7 hours, but I'll take it, because I got up and got my daughter up to go to the bathroom. She had drank some whenever she drinks like a fancy lemonade, she can't hold her. She can't hold her. So sometimes she'll and she won't get up and go. She'll forget. So I get her up. Or I don't know if she forgets. She's in such a deep sleep. So I always get her up so she could go. So when I do that, and I get her up, wait for her in there, make sure she goes, because she's kind of like sleepwalking almost. And then so I lay back down, and sometimes they don't continue my sleep, right? So last night they did, I think, because that's how I got up to the 7. But some days they don't. So there's that. People say, oh, the iPhone tracker is a little different. I've heard people who say the same thing. Sometimes it doesn't always pick up if they don't go right back to sleep. If you have like that little space, they don't calculate that. So there's that. But for the most part, if I get back in the bed within a certain amount of time and I'm not moving, I'm really resting, not checking my phone or anything like that, it'll pick up my sleep. So I think getting something that tracks your sleep is worth doing. I honestly do, because I think sleep is so important. It's important for that weight loss because of that cortisol hormone. I mean, it sounds like a little thing, but it makes a big difference. Shia Tamika says, having to put dry sheets on the bed in the middle of the night, such fun. Gee, it's like that soaked. Jeez Louise. Perimenopause and the start of menopause. Yikes, 100 pounds gained in a few years. Oh my gosh. I wonder how low your estrogen had gotten or is. It could be right now too. Diva to Diva. How are you? How are you? Such a cute pic. D, how are you? How are you? Okay, so Cheryl said, I'm glad I got my sister like. Go Cheryl. She said, because the hot flashes are too much. That hair, that hair makes a big difference, right? When you're trying to work out and do all the things. Like, don't judge a woman's hair. Let us do what we do. Okay, so, okay, Diva said you went into surgical menopause. Okay, I can see that. I've known a couple of people like that. I'm sorry to hear that, but it sounds like you came out on the other side. The spare tire, the high belly was a big clue that perimenopause was kicking my butt. Then the night sweats, the brain fog, itching, crawling skin started. Now, I have not had the crawling skin. Jeez Louise. Okay. Oh, that sounds like it's painful. You're not there yet. Okay, very good. Okay, all right. You said, okay, so Cheryl says she's 61 going on 62 when it is going to something. Now, Cheryl, I think you asked me in my comments. I think I responded. I still have a couple comments I have to respond to, but I'm going to be giving a weight loss update on Friday. So tune in. I hope you have your notifications present. I'm going to be giving like a 2+ year update. Yeah, this video is going to be, I'm trying to make it short though, short and sweet. And I'm going to update you guys on my weight and just where I'm headed with this GLP-1. And, it's just going to be a nice video, just summing up my journey. So thank you for that. Definitely post over here. We're post-menopausal. We're post-menopausal. I love it. Okay, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Look at you, a cutie pie. Look at you. I love the curls of it all. Okay, the bellying was bellying or bullying. But it's getting better. Okay, all right. Very good. Very good. Is it AARP? I must not be that far behind. Okay, all right. So somebody else's post. So it's just me, Shonda, or Shanada. Is it Shanada? Oh, you'll be 52. Where? Look at you. I tell people I'm seasoning gracefully. I love that. I love that. Very good. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so August, are you a Leo? A Leo? August Leo. Jeez Louise. I really think these GLP-1s, meds are going to help us live longer. So this new chapter for all of us to live a full life. Absolutely. I agree 100%. We moved from Cali to Georgia after I retired. Oh my gosh. How do you like Georgia? What's the difference? Is there a huge difference? Okay. So, you said he's lost 150 pounds because of lung cancer. This was us 11/25. Okay, very good. That's a nice looking picture. Okay, how is he doing now? I love it. No psycho. Yes, no psycho. That's what my IUD is for. My sons would tease me that I'm menopause. But now we know, no fault of your own. It's your biology. All right. So you said I was spotting and turned out I had polyps in the 12th month. Yeah. So I'm glad you figured that out, because a lot of people get panicked. They say, oh, okay, my cycle is coming back. Like, things could be going on. So that's what I'm saying. Things could be going on. I still have to respond to you about, yes, that's okay. I'm retired now. So I got time on my hands. Like Mary J said, time on my hands. Well, really, I'm busy though. So whenever you're ready, we'll make it work. No worries. Okay, all right. You have finally reached menopause. I meant my 12 months. Oh my goodness. Now I don't know if you want confetti, but I give confetti for that. Jeez, Louise, no more cycles. The cycle is over. The cycle is over. The cycle is over. The cycle is over. Like, who is that lady excited about menopause? And then I did like Halle Berry suggested, and I had that menopause party. We had a great old time. It was myself, it was Dr. Bobby, it was Mail to the B, and my girl Kate the Great. I mean, we had a menopause party. We celebrated. So you got to go back and check out that video. That video was we had a good time with talking about the menopause of it all. So I love that. The math is matching. All right, so let's see. Okay, and I'm glad Anissa got checked too. All right, so M to the V to the P. She said, I had a cycle in 10 years plus due to partial hysterectomy. I hadn't had a cycle in 10 plus years due to a partial hysterectomy. I've had all the symptoms, but I have to assume I'm post now. I don't really know. The lab says peri, but I don't think so. Okay, so you might be post, but that maybe it's a little bit harder to determine because of that partial hysterectomy. I wonder where your estrogen levels are. Did they take that lab? But you're saying you took the labs and they say peri. Okay, all right. So yeah, and this is the crazy thing too, is I sometimes still have symptoms of a cycle. Do you guys have that? The postmenopausal people? And my number one is I feel the sensation like I used to when I knew it was time for a cycle, but the breast tenderness, that's a thing around my cycle time, but I don't have a cycle, but I mean, I'm feeling some symptoms. So real quick, let's talk about what some of these symptoms are really quick. I'm just going to list them, name them. I'm going to name them off. I'm going to put up a visual and I'm going to name them off. And let me see if some of these are perimenopause. Also, a lot of these are very similar to the perimenopause of it all. So let me, I'm going to print this out so I can actually read it. I probably could read it better, print it out. But I'm going to post it so you guys can see it. I'm going to read these menopause symptoms and you let me know how many of these you have. Are you guys ready? Are you ready to keep track? I want you to let me know how many you have. Okay. All right. So I'm printing these out. Hold on a second. All right. So I'm going to put these up so you guys can see them. That's tonight. Oh, don't forget to go back and watch my retirement party. We love that. Oh, I forgot to mention. Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to thank everybody. Oh my goodness. I wanted to thank everybody because I'm at 7K subscribers. Can you believe that? I cannot believe that. I think I was telling Taisha, Simply Taisha. Hopefully you're following Simply Taisha. She's awesome. But I was telling Taisha, all my YouTube goals have been met, so whatever I do from here on out is just blessings on blessings on blessings. Like, any goals I have for YouTube, I've just surpassed them. Or, I had little individual goals. I never shared it with anybody. I just kind of said it to myself. And everything I wanted to do, I have done it, right? So now it's like, again, blessings on blessings. And the last time we met, like last Wednesday when we met, I want to say I was like close to 7,000 at that point. But 14 days ago, we were celebrating 6,000. So 14 days later, I'm at 7K. Who knew it could go that fast? I just did not know. So again, I just say whatever happens from here on out, it's just blessings on blessings. And I just appreciate you guys watching. So I just wanted to make sure I said thank you. Because, and I want to emphasize the watching, because people can subscribe. We all know that people, you say something people like, they might subscribe, but to actually watch the videos, that's what I appreciate. People are actually watching the videos. People are actually locked in. I say people are locked in, tuned in, and people are commenting. And sometimes, people will comment and say, I've been watching you for a year or two, and I've never seen or heard of this name or this person. And something moved them in the video, to want to comment. And so I appreciate that. So for all the people that watch the replays, and don't comment, but you're still watching, I appreciate that. So support looks different for everybody. Some people can support with super chat. Some people can support by joining the membership. Some people can support by, coming to the lives and talking, interacting with me live. And some people are simply just watching to support, and all of it's appreciated. No matter how big or not how small, it all adds up, just like our small little weight loss, that 0.2 that I kept getting, it added up over time, right? So same thing with you guys watching. I saw somebody, Cheryl said, my daughter's so pretty. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying to think of clever ways to kind of include her, because she's given up her mommy time for me to be here on YouTube. So I try to think about that as well. So anyway, I digress. I just wanted to say thank you. But here are the 50 symptoms. Round amount of Zepbound. You can tell us if your wife is having any of these. All right, I don't know if you can see them, but I'm going to put them up here and then let me know how many. Now it's 50. There's more than 50, but I'm going with 50. How many of these are you having? And I'm about to name them. Are you ready? Hot flashes, night sweats, irregular cycles, mood swings, irritability, anxiety, depression, brain fog, memory issues, difficulty concentrating, fatigue, the fatigue of it all, low energy, sleep problems, insomnia, weight gain, slower metabolism, bloating, breast tenderness. I just talked about that. Headaches, joint pain, muscle aches, stiffness, dry skin, thinning hair, hair loss, vaginal dryness. Oh, geez, Louise. Low libido, painful intercourse. Geez, Louise. They talk about the price of being a lady. Urinary urgency, which means you have to go ASAP. Urinary frequency, you have to go often. Heart palpitations, shortness of breath, dizziness, vertigo, what's that called? Tinnitus, digestive issues, constipation, diarrhea, nausea, acid reflux, which is heartburn, food cravings, sugar cravings, changes in your appetite, chills, itchy skin, brittle nails, swollen hands and feet, frozen shoulder, TMJ pain. That's when you're clutching your teeth down at night. A lot of people do it as they sleep. And tooth sensitivity. Now, who knew? Okay. All right. Now, who knew that teeth sensitivity was related to that? I mean, geez, Louise, it's a wonder. I'm telling you. So, you know what? When people talk about women, this is what annoys me. When people call us names and shame us for getting older. And, so a lot of times people, talk about you. If they can't say anything about your looks, they go to that age, right? They age shame you. And I'm not for nothing. You could be going through these in your 40s, some people even in their 30s. So it's not just related to 50 and over. But a lot of times, that's when people actually take that journey through to menopause in the 50s. But you could start in your 40s and even some women in their 30s. But this is what we're dealing with. You know what you need to do? We need to get this list, print it out, and give it to your spouse and tell him to pass it to his friend and his friend and his friend. Because anytime somebody is telling us that we're being a bitch, that we're, that we're annoying them, that we're mean, that we're mad, well, guess what? We got all this going on. No wonder. I don't want to hear from you. So you know what? When the next guy I'm dating, Round Mountain, are you listening to this? Because be easy on your wife. The next time I am dealing with somebody and they try to tell me about my mood swings or attitude, well, wait a minute now. My hormones are a little bit optimized, so I'm not probably going to be going through that. But you're going to give them this list and say, hey, it's not laziness. It's not that I'm just one of those people that have an attitude. It's the fact that I am menopausal and it's my biology. We can't control that. Now, what you can do is treat it. And this is where we're going to focus on the next part of this live. We're going to focus on what you could do to treat it. Before we do that, geez, Louise, I'm worked up. I think I worked myself up, she is Tamika, into a night flash. Oh, wait, not a night flash, a hot flash. A night sweat. Geez, Louise, I'm annoyed. Oh my goodness. Okay, so anybody, have you had any of those 50 symptoms? Have you had, I want to say I probably have had about 30 of these babies, at least 30. Geez, Louise, how many do you think you've had from that list? I'm going to put this list back up here. How many do you think you've had? Oh, it's just me. She said 45 to 44 to 45. Geez, Louise. Okay, anybody else? Oh, so the real MVP, she says, no way. I used to get vertigo on and off. I have tinnitus. Is it tinnitus? Tinnitus started a couple of years ago. No doctor ever said that could be due to menopause. They all act like they really don't know. What the hell? Jeez, Louise. Oh my goodness. You just said I just got one Benjamin and folded. Oh, Journey said, Journey. She said she's listening in the bushes. I have to fold $100 bill for my son's promotion. LOL. Mel said, poor RMZ. Oh, that's too many to count. I say okay, you guys. Okay, very good. So we'll put some of these things you guys are saying. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about one more thing. And then we're going to go to our special guest. It's going to be coming up here. Too many to count, Tiffany. Tiffany, how are you? I can relate, Tiffany. Too many to count. All right, so here we go. So if you go to my post, I put up a post every day, and I hope the posts are helpful to those people that are, scrolling down and just need a little wisdom, encouragement, the facts of it all. So this is on my community post, or this will be up. I don't know if it's up today. I think it's up today, or if it's not, it will be up. I want to say it's up today, though. So what's actually happening? Why do women gain weight in menopause? And it is not being lazy. It is not any of those things. It's your biology. This is what's happening. Your hormones are starting to shift. The inflammation is going to rise. And hormones are shifting because that estrogen, that's the key player, declines. It starts to store that fat. The way you stored fat before, it's going to be different in menopause in those years. Your inflammation is going to go up. Menopause is more pro-inflammatory. That's the pro-inflammatory stage of life. So if you're eating, especially if you're eating those foods, any foods that can kickstart that, it's just going to take it and hold on to it for dear life, which is why the GLP-1 is so great, because it helps with that. Insulin resistance increases. Your body can now store more calories. Fat distribution changes. Your fat moves toward the belly and your organs. Look at that. Look at that. Your muscle slowly declines, right? So we need that estrogen. That's why we want to build that baby back up, because that estrogen is going to help keep that muscle and help us with the muscle as it declines. And less muscle is going to be a slower metabolism. And what does this all affect? It affects your bone health. Estrogen declines. It accelerates the bone loss, your heart health. You have cardiovascular risk that arises after menopause. Nobody ever told us that. Brain health, your hormones influence your memory, mood, and how you're thinking, your cognition, how your brain is thinking about things. Your metabolism, you burn fewer calories at rest. That's why you need that muscle. So when you're just sitting around, you are burning calories. You're burning that food off that you ate. Fat storage, and this is a big one. Visceral fat increases around the organ. So when you can get rid of that, look at that picture. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I don't know if that's going to help you guys see a little bit better. But look at that fat around those organs. Geez, Louise, I just picture my head on that body. Well, I would take the body, but I don't want the fat. So menopause is not just about hot flashes. A lot of people say that. It's about your metabolism. It's about inflammation, insulin sensitivity, bone density, heart health, the way your brain functions. I know a lot of people talk about the frozen shoulder of it all. They never knew that was a symptom. Well, yeah, that frozen shoulder. I mean, look at all those things. And I'm going to say, a lot of those things you hear, the typical things about I'm going to take this off right now. So we normally, hear the typical things. We hear what? The night sweats. We hear the insomnia a little bit, not a lot of with the insomnia, but we hear that. We hear I heard a lot about the brain fog of it all, but not the mood swings. I wasn't that anxiety. I know a lot of people are anxious. Did you know being menopausal or perimenopausal, it will make you anxious? That losing that estrogen is so key. So I think I shared earlier, my estrogen levels 2 years ago was 23. Oh no, 29. Well, now I looked it up. I said 292, but I had that 290 in my head. I actually looked it up. So I take that back. It was 27 on August 9th of 2023. I actually went and looked it up. And at March 18th, when I went to the doctor of this year, 2026, it was at, drum roll. I actually have a drum roll. Let's see. Let me do the drum roll. I want to be dramatic. My estrogen level is at 290. I said 292. That maybe it wasn't 292 because it fluctuates, right? But 290. 290. So think about that. I went from 27. Now, what if the optimal number for me is anywhere between, 100 and 150 or 100 and 100 and 200? I'm at 290. Is that too much? No, because I went to the doctor. I saw my menopause specialist. She saw the number. She didn't really focus in on that number. She focused in on how I felt. And I did feel, I'm feeling pretty good. So I will say that. So, but I feel like, okay, so I'm taking this, and I'm going to have this discussion with my special guest that's coming up in a second. But I'm taking this, and this is one of the reasons why, Eva Miss, and this is one of the reasons why I am an advocate and a big believer in getting those numbers checked, knowing your numbers, because what if my estrogen level jumps up to like 500? Am I supposed to be there? What if it jumps up to 400? Am I supposed to be there? You know what I'm saying? And I guess in her mind, she says, well, you would be feeling different. You might not feel the same, but how do they really know? So I just say, know your numbers. And I'm going to tell you, when people say, and I've had this conversation with an actual doctor, and I shouldn't say when a doctor says, well, you don't need to know the numbers, they fluctuate every day. And you know what? So does my weight, but we still take that every time I come. So if they're taking your weight and they're establishing a benchmark, a pattern, a trend, they need to do the same thing with your hormones. That's what I'm saying. That's it. That's all. And the reason why they don't want to do that is because for so long, the symptoms were overlooked, and people were but the medical profession was just kind of looking at the numbers. The numbers fluctuated. They weren't as accurate. It depended on what time you went, when your hormones were taken. And so I see it was a benefit, right, for us to give a treatment based on the symptoms. But I think just like everything else in a civilization, things develop, right? Things kind of, move forward. You get new technology, you get new information. When you know better, you do better. And I think now we need to start not treat. I think we still need to treat on the symptoms, but I also think we also need to inform people of what their numbers are, make people aware of what the numbers are and what the numbers mean. And our numbers are different. We all understand that. I could have one set of numbers. Rita could have another set of numbers. MVP could have another set of numbers. But what does that mean for you? And I think it's important that you know that. So now that I know I'm at 292, that's up there, right? Is it 292? 290. I keep saying 292. 290. Now that I know it's at 290, I kind of want to know, like, where is it going to be in 3 more months from now? So anyway, that's all I have to say. Let's talk about the treatment of it all. We can treat with HRT, BHRT. I'm going to have our special guest come up. I'm going to go get my Eva Miss. I'm not going to get my progesterone. I also take that. I take that because I still have a uterus, and to protect yourself from the possibility of, getting cancer. I kind of have to say that. And it's not like I automatically will, but it's a protection of your uterus. So you take those two together if you still have a uterus. So I take my Eva Miss in the morning, and at night I take the progesterone because it helps with sleep, and it has a lot of other benefits. And have I noticed it helps with sleep? Well, I'm getting 7 hours. You saw it. I was getting 7 and 8 hours, whereas before I was getting 2 or 3. Now, I also, like with these GLP-1s, I made a conscious choice to turn things off, the expectation that I'm going to go to bed. You know, I was grinding it out on YouTube, working till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, doing these videos and all that. And I said to myself, we're going to stop that. We're going to get some sleep. And I just cut it off. If I'm not done, guess what? I'm just not done. It'll get done the next day. And that's how I prioritize my sleep. So the things that I can do, I do. And the things that I struggle with, it's a struggle. All right, so I'm gonna put this up. I'm gonna bring and when I come back, I'm just gonna go get my Even Mist. When I come back, I'm gonna bring my special guest to the stage. In the meantime, in between time, I want you to let me know, Ruth, Rita, how are you? Becky, how are you, ladies? Okay, so in the meantime, I want you guys to let me know. Are you on any HRT or BHRT? And if you are, can you tell us what it is? And I'm just going to put this little graphic up while I go get my Even Mist. Wait a second. Okay, I'm getting my special guest on. So here we come. My special guest is ready to go. All right, so 1 second. Are you guys telling me in the chat if you're at home watching? Put it in the comment section. What are you on? What are you taking? Are you doing anything? Maybe you're not. Maybe you're just, going the natural route, and that's okay too. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I was going to put this link in the chat, and then I decided not to. So there's that. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. All right. So what do you guys do? Ooh, we got some good info. Okay. So Ruth is driving but listening. Thank you for listening in. Yeah. So these slides will be on my community wall. I think the one is already up there. The one I just had on there is already up there. Let me go. I'm gonna go to my coming soon. I'm gonna go to my community post. Let's see. I believe it's up there, but let me double check. And then the other one, it'll be there before the end of this week. Yeah, so right now, the one this one is up. Shan. I call you Shan because I don't want to mess your name up. So that one's up. The other one I'm going to put up sometime before the end of this week is out. I'll put that one up too. Okay, thank you. Good idea. But yeah, I'm already on it. All right, so estrogen receptors are everywhere. Absolutely. Mood swings and hot flashes in my 50s. Then GLP-1 medications gave you cold flash. Yeah. Right, because we get cold. Jeez, you're losing that insulation. That's why. You said you had your hormones and your thyroid checked. Okay, very good. And so does your blood pressure. She's only talking for what she was taught. I think she may be intimidated by patients having a voice. Yes. Oh, yeah. Fluctuate. Exactly. Yep. You're right about that. Let's see. Wow, Diva, you was staying up late. Oh, I was staying up late. I mean, it was ridiculous, Cheryl. You said not on any HRT, but I need to be. Okay, all right. So our special guest is here. You said you need to be. I feel like it will help me with responding better to the GLP-1, possibly. And and that's the thing. Some people don't, just I know we talk about belly fat is connected to estrogen, but I will say, and the doctor will tell you this, a responsible one. Just because you take HRT, that doesn't automatically mean that you're going to lose more weight. It doesn't. Some people don't lose any more weight at all. But I do think it manages those other things. So if your only thing is the belly and you don't notice anything else, but some of those things you might not notice, but it's still going on. If you're not getting a DEXA scan, if you're not getting any kind of scan to say where your bone density is, it could be affecting that. So it's affecting a lot of things that we don't see, that estrogen, your muscle mass, all of that. What else do we not see? A lot of things you can get from a DEXA scan. I didn't talk about that yet, but I'm telling you, a DEXA scan is the best thing you can get. I'll be getting another one, here soon. Not soon, but probably before the fall. I want to plan to. But, it just tells you a lot that's going on with your body. So I think, some of those things you're not going to know. If you just go to your doctor and say, I'm having this, and this, like, remember we just named all these things, they're probably not going to connect that to, unless you're with the menopause specialist, to menopause or perimenopause. So you kind of have to go yourself armed with information. Let's see. Okay, so Sweet Bee takes estradiol, nightly, along with progesterone, 2 per night for 14 days on and off. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, all right. 2 per night. Not just take 1. I wonder why you take 2. Which is okay. I'm on the starting doses though. You know what I mean? Like this is my first go around. I'm just starting out. Okay. Miss Brenda, how are you? Cute pig. Look at that red lip. Another red lip in the house. I love it. Not HRT, but I'm taking creatine daily along with the hormones. Very good. That's creatine is supposed to be not just good for the muscle, but also the brain function, helping you to get clarity, that brain functioning. I had Hashimoto's a decade before I was diagnosed. TSH labs also fluctuate, so I ended up with a Godia that has been for cancer cells every year. Treatment based on symptoms is a must. Yes. Very good. Jeez Louise. So you're into the thick of it because you know a lot. So I can tell you've been involved with it. Yes. You know what? You should put them slides in your stand store, especially with them 50 symptoms. Yes, that's a good idea. I'm going to go in there while my special guest is talking, and I'm going to put that downloadable PDF that you could get that gives you the hormones to ask for when you go to the doctor, and a script, not for nothing, a script. Because some people say, I get to my doctor, I don't know what to say, I forget what to say, I lose my train of thought. And so I have it all kind of laid out for you, what you can say and how to say it. So I'm going to put that in there while you say it has been an interesting discussion. Well, my special guest is going to spice it up a little bit more. She's going to talk about the treatments of it all. This lady is so passionate about women's health and menopause, perimenopause. And I'm going to tell you, I've never in my life talked about sleep with anybody other than a doctor, but her every day. Every single day, we're talking about the sleep of it all. And I want to know, has she talked about sleep with other people? Because that's our topic of discussion. And this is my home girl, my friend. I just love her to death. And she is Mel to the B. Go, Melly Mel. Go, Mel. Go, Melly Mel. Go, Mel.
Hello, 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 hello. How
How
are
are
you?
you?
I'm good. It's good to see your face, even though I talk to you. I look
Ah,
tired, but I
I,
tried to put on some lipstick and, make myself look halfway decent.
you always look fabulous. Fabulous,
Thank you.
Mel.
Thank you.
All right. So,
Um,
Melly Mel, what do you want to tell us? We want to talk about the treatment of it all. What do you want us to know
okay.
about
Well,
this
first of
topic?
all, somebody said that they were on progesterone and they were taking it for 14 days. And the people that do that are usually perimenopausal or very early in menopause. And this is for women with a uterus, of course. And they take it for partial month because the doctors are normally trying to get them to mimic their natural menstrual cycle. So, usually, very shortly after they start estradiol, the doctor also, obviously, for protection reasons, prescribes progesterone. But again, that's mostly perimenopausal and early menopausal women. For people like us who are postmenopausal, we would be taking progesterone if we had a uterus every single day of the month. I do not have a uterus and I sleep well, so I don't take progesterone. So anyway, I just thought I would add that. I don't know who it was. Was it Sweet Bee that
I
said
think
that?
it would be yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say that because I don't know if she said that in the chat. But what I want people to know is that even though I'm extremely passionate about women's health and wellness and the menopause and perimenopause of it all, a couple of things. Number one, perimenopause is where the chaos lives. So what that means is that most people have very severe symptoms during that time period. I mean, everyone around me. That's all I talk about with like my friends and family. They're like, "Shut up," but literally, it's
I
ridiculous.
know.
I have to catch myself at work. But I say that to say that perimenopause is where the chaos lives. Now, that being said, I remember earlier this week, maybe it was on one of your posts, Dee Dee, but someone said, "Oh, I'm done. I just finished menopause. I'm just like you're never done because your hormones never come back." However, that doesn't mean you have to take HRT, or as it's known now, it's kind of trendy to say MHT, menopausal hormone therapy. You don't have to take it, but just understand that the runoff of estrogen in your body does have an impact. There are many, many unseen aspects, not just the genital urinary impacts of menopause, dryness, atrophy of the vagina. Your vagina may not even look the same. You may look and be like, oh my God, is that my vagina? You know, vagina, vagina, vagina.
And
Everybody hates
I
to
want
say
to say,
that.
that's one of the reasons you hear these celebrities. I mean, I'm sure, regular folk are doing this too. We just don't hear, but these celebrities, you hear them going and doing this and that to their vaginas. Well, that's why. It's not because
That's
for so long we thought it was like because you were with so many people, right? You were so stressed out, you stretched out and this and that. But really, no one really knew that it was because of a lack of estrogen and all that was going on in your body. That it's a lot of it we can't control. And so you got to kind of take control of it. So I give those ladies a lot of credit that go in and do whatever they do to their private parts because I mean, it's not going to just snap back. Things aren't just going to magically, once you're through menopause. I think people think like, oh, I'm going to go back to normal. I just don't have a cycle. And it doesn't happen like that.
very well said. Thank you for saying that. And then there's also the musculoskeletal syndrome associated with menopause, because in order for you to kind of maintain that muscle, you can work out, obviously, you can eat protein, but there is some natural loosening of muscle tissue as you age. And again, I think somebody said it in the chat. There are estrogen receptors from your brain all the way down to the tips of your toes. And if you got dry, crusty feet, dry hands, dry skin, dry scalp, all of that is related to the runoff of estrogen in your body. And one other thing I wanted to clarify that I think is very important, Dee Dee, is that there's a difference between BHRT and HRT. BHRT is plant-based, soy-based. It mimics your natural estradiol, which your body makes, whereas HRT is generally lab made, or it could be derived from horse urine, which is equine based. So both of them are FDA approved. Sometimes you'll find that BHRT costs a little bit more. So even if your insurance covers it, you still may have a more significant copay. Like I use this. I think, Dee Dee uses the same thing. I love it. It's a spray. Yeah, there you go. It's called Avamist or Evamist. Love that. So yeah, I just urge people to understand the differences. Nothing's wrong with taking the Premarin or the HRT that's derived from the horse urine. Nothing's wrong with that. Some women have allergic reactions. They can't take something on their skin. There are women that maybe they're allergic to the spray and they need the little sashes, which is the gel. Now, I will tell you, Dee Dee, you said something early. You talked a little bit about getting your labs drawn. And yes, you can be treated based on your symptoms, like Dee Dee said. But let's not forget that you could end up in a situation like the male B. And where did I end up? I ended up with, and I have the numbers right here. I've got labs here. I ended up at a 523 in terms of my estradiol at the end of the year. 523, like I was 16 years old. 16, like my doctor, literally, I was like, why is it taking her so long to come in here? She took my blood work a couple weeks prior, called me in for a follow-up, and she was worried. She literally got on the phone with a peer of hers, and she was like, oh my God, I'm concerned. And she came in the room and was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, what? And she's like, your estradiol level is 523. And I was like, whoa, I knew that was high. And she was like, if I didn't know that you had a total abdominal hysterectomy, that means I have no cervix, no fallopian tubes, no ovaries. I have nothing. It's like, hello, nothing there. And she didn't know. She was like, if I didn't know, I would have thought you had some type of tumor. But I was fine. But because we were checking my levels, we knew that I needed to come down. She was asking me how I was feeling. Well, I was feeling great. It hadn't hit me. I didn't even have any breast tenderness, but we knew I didn't need to be on that high of a dose. So anyway, I say all that to say I was taking 3 of these sprays, and this can be dosed 1 spray, 2 sprays, or 3 sprays. I was taking 3. So instead of her lowering me to 1 dose, she's like, your body is absorbing this way too efficiently. She lowered my dose to this little baby here. I had to drop that. I went back, it was too low. So what does she do? She increases it to this baby, which is 0.75. Still too low.
The gel? That's the gel?
The gel, 0.25 and 0.75.
I think I might need the gel because look at I don't know if you can see my arm. Oh.
Yeah, I know you were having issues. You just may not.
I switched over because at first I found myself scratching, and then I was getting like little bumps. And actually, they're kind of they're going away, but then they were staying. And then I said, okay, maybe if I try, I didn't realize I could do it on the other arm because I thought maybe I'll go back and forth, but I haven't gone back and forth. I've just been on this arm. So now I'm getting them on this arm. So now I'm going to try the back and forth. But when I go back to her, well, actually, I see the doctor next week. Not that same doctor, a different doctor. I'm going to ask her about maybe the gel when this is up, just to try that. But I don't know. I feel like the spray is so convenient. Like it dries within 2 minutes. You don't have to. I don't know. Does the gel dry quickly?
Well, the gel that I take, I mean, everybody probably already knows this because I think I've said it before. I take this testosterone gel, or you could have heard it from Taisha because she also takes it. So I take this gel. It dries very, very quickly. Yeah, I take a pea size of it. So it's the same consistency as these little packets. They're not bad. They're not bad. It's just, I just, I needed to increase my dose, and this was just easy. I already had a prescription. So my doctor told me to get back on this. And now we're on 2 sprays and everything is honky dory. And I'm where I need to be, which is in the 200s. For me, that is a good place to be. I think I'm at like 240 or something like that. So yeah, but I do think you need to consider it because you shouldn't be itching like that. You're having an allergic reaction to it and it just may not be for you. I would take the gel over the patch. The patch, I'm like, it comes off. I take too many showers or something. I don't know, but it's annoying. So anyway, so there's that. So those are just some of the things. So I do advocate for women getting their labs, and really you can go to Quest Diagnostics yourself or LabCorp. You can go online to Function to get it, Function Health or Thrive Health. So there are online platforms where you can actually get your labs drawn, have a doctor interpret them for you, etc. Just be armed with that information. Like, why wouldn't you? I don't care if you will treat my symptoms. I want to know my numbers, period, with a T. So, yeah.
We love that. All right. So you might want to check out some of those comments, Mel, in there. Can you see them?
Okay. Let me see.
I'm going to bring out the little hormone list and put it in there. That's what I'm doing as we speak.
While you were doing those cartwheels, Mel B. Rita, you're funny. Mel B coming with all the info. I try. I just love talking about this. And one thing that I wanted to add, and yeah, Dee Dee and I do talk a lot about sleep. First of all, sleep is so important to our overall health and beauty. And I'm not trying to say the looks of losing weight, the looks of taking estradiol or testosterone and all that stuff is the most important thing. But I do feel that when you get your rest and you're taking care of yourself, you look better and you feel better and you have that swagger. Now, I use this ring, the Aura ring, to track my sleep, my steps, my heart rate, when I'm under stress, when I'm chill, and I love it. It is the most accurate, specifically around sleep. It's accurate, but sleep, it is like rated to be the best. And it also emits much less radiation, like a minuscule amount that your body won't absorb. And so that's another reason why I chose this wearable, because I don't like wearing stuff against my body. I don't wear ear pods and stuff like that either. So this was a really good option for me. And I love it. And yeah, so I want to say that sleep. But the other thing I wanted to say, I love Mary Claire Haver. She's not perfect. Some people think she's annoying, but I really do like her. I think there's a lot of jealousy in the industry, the women's health industry. But I wanted to make sure, what was it? I forgot what I wanted to say. You know what? Never mind. I had kept a little thing in the book, and unfortunately, oh, I know what it was. I wanted to respond to something the MVP said. She was talking about vertigo. And it's interesting because I suffered with vertigo a few years ago too. When I started BHRT, it stopped. But what we realized was when my doctor took my labs and I validated it in this book, The New Menopause. There's also a book called The New Perimenopause, by the way, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, who I had the pleasure of meeting, by the way. I got my books signed and everything. But what I wanted to say is that vitamin D, your vitamin D levels, if they're low and you are perimenopausal or menopausal, it's likely tied to the perimenopause or the menopause. So make sure you're getting your vitamin D levels checked. And also, many women of color, from very, very fair skin, brown skin like myself and Shay, and or dark skinned women, we all we tend to lack vitamin D, and at some point in our lives end up needing supplementation. But that could be a real reason why you have vertigo, because we know during perimenopause and menopause, runoff of vitamin D is very, very common. So when you get your blood panels, make sure, in addition to your FSH, your thyroid stimulating hormone, testosterone, progesterone, and estradiol, make sure you get your vitamin D levels checked as well. It doesn't cost any more. It's very cheap. Get those checked as well. So I just wanted to say that. That's what it was, because MVP mentioned
And I
it.
think when you get the labs, I don't know. I feel like it's standard now it's in the lab workup to get the
Well,
vitamin D. But I think too, if you live in a state where it's not a lot of sunshine, you live in Florida, so that's great. You have that advantage where you have sunshine, a lot through the year. But if you live in like Ohio, like me, where it's dark at 4:30, in the fall leading into winter, you definitely need your vitamin D. And most
yeah,
women, even the ones that like to be outside and walking outside, you're still walking with no sun. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah,
yeah,
it's like I think it's probably why it comes standard here. I feel like it's
yeah,
like automatic. But in other states where the sun is out, I think they assume people are out walking, taking in the sun, and they may not necessarily be. Or you may be taking it in, thinking you're taking it in, but you might not have on your SPF and all the things that you need to really absorb it into your body. So there's that.
yeah.
So I think that's great.
Yeah, definitely. And one other thing I wanted to mention to women. So if you're a woman that, for whatever reason, I completely respect everybody's choices. If you're a woman who, and I forgot to bring it downstairs, but if you're a woman who doesn't want to take um, hormone replacement therapy or MHT, there are a few other options for you. I definitely believe that women should be taking what's called Vagifem, or some vaginal estrogen, right? It is not systemic, so that means it doesn't travel throughout your body. It does, however, soften the tissues in your vagina. It helps with dryness, because a lot of times with women, let's not forget, you might be aroused, but and it might seem like it, like on the outside, but if you're in a relationship where you're intimate, if that person is inside you or whatever, or tries to get inside you, inside could be dry. And that can be painful for many women. So it's really important to make sure that you treat those tissues. And it's also important to protect yourself against urinary tract infections, because UTIs is one of the primary reasons why women, as they age, we're talking about women in their 70s, 80s, 90s, if you are so blessed to have that health span, if you end up in the doctor, the chances of you getting an infection that sort of worsens whatever condition you're in the hospital for, whether it's heart disease, whatever the issue is, whether you've had a stroke, many women end up with debilitating UTIs that ultimately cause infections, which perpetuate, and nobody wants to be in their last sort of season of life dealing with that. So you really have to be careful, and you have to treat that part of your body. Don't go down like that. Like, go down with a fight. Go down with a fight. Get your Intrarosa. By the way,
And not
Intrarosa,
for nothing, and not for
HE.
nothing, you also want to match that. What do men take? What are they
Oh,
taking?
the blue pill. Yes.
Yeah,
Um, Many
they're
of them.
taking that. We gotta have something to take too. We gotta
Yeah,
match their
it's like,
energy.
right. I'm gonna match your greatness, bro. Okay. No, I'm joking. I'm being silly now, but seriously, whether whoever your partner is, male or female or whatever, that is a very important part of life. But now these are DHEA capsules. However, because I take Vagifem, it is a intrauterine. It's like a little plunger, very, very, very thin, about half the size of my pinky, let's say. And there's a little pill, like the size of a birth control pill. And twice a week, well, when I first started it, I took it every day for 2 weeks. And then after your tissues down there start to improve, you then go to twice a week. And it keeps it moist and you just feel so much better. But for people who don't even want to take Vagifem, don't even want to take vaginal estradiol, guess what? You could take DHEA intravaginally. Not this, these are capsules, but you could literally take that. Your body naturally makes DHEA, and it is a precursor to hormones. So estradiol, testosterone, and it is known to treat in a very good way. It is actually FDA approved for painful sex. That's what it's FDA approved for. Let's just call it what it is. So you can take DHEA because it helps your body create its own estrogen, and it is a prescription that you can get from your doctor. Yeah, and you can avoid the estradiol altogether. However, I don't know who would not want to be on
all soft and crispy.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be? Thank you. Come on, y'all. Come on.
But no, seriously, I will say, just having friends that that are married. I always say a single person. The single people are getting it in. The married folks, not so much. And part of it is, it's like they say the thrill is gone, but a lot of times the women, even not for nothing, the men with andropause going on too, untreated. Okay. They don't really want to seek and do anything. They're not up for being intimate. They have think about all those issues. You got 50 things possibly going on. And if you could just really work on that intimacy part, take care of yourself, that vaginal, health, I think that could make a big difference in a lot of these relationships. Like, get it in, like turn on that Marvin Gaye and say, let's get it on.
Help me get her a man. Help me get her a boyfriend, but he got to come correct because she is not playing. Okay, he got to come correct. I'm gonna set her up with somebody.
Oh my goodness! I would say I got my Vagifem. Do you have your Viagra?
Right. Yeah. Yes. Well, and actually, they have something because Vagifem is good for those tissues and for the health, but they do have something, and you guys can check it out at Alloy and a couple of other female-centered telehealth companies who sell something. Alloy, for example, their proprietary blend is called Amazing. So it's not Viagra, right? But Amazing, it is for excitement. That's, which is in a different lane, which is what Dee Dee is talking about. But yeah, and that's for the pleasure of it all, but the Intra-Rosa, remember, Intra-Rosa is DHEA. It's not estradiol, and you can get a vaginal insert from your doctor. It's a prescription. It is FDA approved for painful sex, but you can also get something like Amazing, which is, like Dee Dee said, the female version of Viagra, and helps you with excitement and stuff like that. So yeah, there's all these things, not trying to make this a sex talk. However, that's an important part of life, vaginal health.
Yes.
And I see people talking about vaginal cream. Yeah, Ruth. Okay, there you go. Where can you get this Vagifem from? Rita, it is a prescription that you can get from your doctor. Yeah, and it's also, like Anissa said, Uvafem, same thing. I think Taisha takes Uvafem. I'm just telling her business, but she's already told it anyway.
You've been on here talking about it, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, vertigo is horrible. I was in there trying to work out. I'm about to pass out. Ridiculous. That explains why you were doing those cartwheels. Oh, okay. We're way past that. Okay. Yeah.
Well, let me real quick give a shout out to Bellflower, and it's probably other people, and I just don't know. And then Shonda just downloaded those free doctor's checklists with the hormones. She's going to march into her doctor's office with those, that script, things you can say to your doctor, how to prepare for the conversation, especially if you have a doctor that's reluctant. I think it's super helpful.
Yes.
So let's
Yes.
give them some confetti for downloading those. We love it. I love when people are armed with information.
Love it. Love it. So much good information out there. Yeah, if anybody has any questions for me personally about my HRT journey, please feel free to ask. I think I've said a lot about my HRT and health journey. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say is that there are a lot of unseen and unfelt symptoms of low estradiol, low testosterone. By the way, women, we make more testosterone than we do estrogen in our body, just as an FYI. So that testosterone runs off. That's a problem. They meaning the FDA, they are within the next year going to be releasing a female formulation. Many doctors will prescribe this off label, just like they do for a lot of things. They were prescribing Mounjaro off label for non type 2 diabetics. It's the same concept, but we know that testosterone helps with bone health, muscle, libido, all those things, brain health. So it's very important. But what I was going to say is there are a lot of unseen symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. So you really have to be careful. So at the end, once your period is gone and you're out of the perimenopause chaos, you have to think about other things. If it's important to you to age gracefully, look your best, have the collagen support, and because those powders, with all due respect, I don't care how much of that Vital Farms powder you take, it ain't gonna replace estradiol. Okay, so all the supplements, all the powder, it doesn't replace hormones that your body naturally makes. And I look at it this way: a lot of people want us to go dry up, go away, age gracefully. Well, guess what? Our our society has changed. Back in the day, women, many of them died in childbirth. They died in their 30s. To make it to 50 was a big deal. But now, through modern medicine, um, women are living to be well into their 90s. So, with that, we have to support that longevity. And the way we support that longevity is to try to supplement our hormones to make sure that we're okay. And I believe what Dr. Mary Claire Haver, Dr. Vonda Wright, Dr. Rocio Salas, I believe what these female doctors say. And what these female doctors say is that women should be advocating for their longevity. Most women will qualify to take hormone replacement therapy. So there's that. Even, well, I'm not a doctor, not a doctor. This is educational. But I will say my mother was in the Women's Health Initiative, and I remember that time when she was in that study, and we've talked about it recently. And it's so sad because I was over her house a couple of days ago and we were talking about menopause and stuff like that. And she said to me, she said, do you know if there's some type of class action lawsuit? She told me a story about going to Walgreens after the WHI came out. She went to Walgreens and they were like, oh, we're out of your estrogen, her patch. And she was like, oh, so she went back the following month. They were out of it again. How about Walgreens and other large pharmacies? Guess what they did? They made a corporate policy quietly to not sell estradiol to women. So we have a whole generation of baby boomers like my mother who unfortunately were not able to maintain that vitality that I believe they would have had and she would have had. And I know she's pretty, she has vitality, but not at the level that I would have loved to see for her. So we were saying, when you know better, you do better. I know better. I'm going to do better. I am not going to allow my bone, my skin, my muscle, my brain, my cardiovascular health to be negatively impacted. I'm going to do the things that I can do to make sure that I'm as well as I can be as I age. Okay.
We love that. All right. So real quick, before I go to this comment, because it's something I want to say, and then we're going to be out of here. First of all, Sweet Tea is out there in the bushes somewhere. She just downloaded those hormones. So we love that. We're going to give her, so hey, Sweet Tea, we're going to give her some confetti.
Hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a minute.
Sweet Tea. Okay. So I want to go to this comment. This is, and I wanted to say this. So this is Shonda. She says, I remember a gynecologist telling me 7 years ago I would be dealing with my symptoms past age 55. I understand much better now. Right, because I think people, like we said earlier, they get to menopause and think like it's over, and it really is just beginning, right? You got to still deal with that declining estrogen. And by the time you have gone through menopause and you're postmenopausal, your estrogen is probably at its lowest. It's only going to go lower. You're not going to gain anymore. So you kind of have to have a strategy. But there was someone, and I'm not going to say the name of the person, but they were in their 60s. I know a couple of people in this community that have been in their 60s, and they were saying they went to the doctor to try to get some treatment, and the doctor said they were too old. Now, there is this, when you're in your 60s and you're into your 60s, 65, a lot of doctors will say, no, you're too old. You don't need it. It's not going to really help you. But it varies person to person. And this is why I think you should really contact, especially if you're having symptoms that are making your quality of life not so great, because you still in your 60s, though they might not give you the same dosage that they would give me being 53. They're going to give you something that's a little smaller, right? You're going to probably have a lot less of what somebody like Mel or myself would have, but it is still treatment possible for you. So you have to find someone that is willing to listen to what your symptoms are and help you in whatever way they can. And usually that's probably, unfortunately, not going to be like your primary care physician. It probably is going to have to be somebody who specializes in not just, menopause. They might be called a women's health specialist. And that's also somebody who's going to be really honed in on what benefits women at this stage in our lives. So I just wanted to say that if you're in your 60s, you're not shut out, but you just really have to find someone that's willing to work with you and start off, if you can, at that lowest possible dose, which is kind of what I'm doing, right? And you can always build yourself up. And like we said, your levels up. And like Mel told the story about how she, built her way up, and then she was way too high. Again, this is why getting those numbers are important, because how would you know that you were way too high if you weren't checking your numbers? And somebody might say, well, she was feeling, fine and this and that. But even her doctor said, wait a minute, that's too high. Do you know what I'm saying? So those numbers are important. I'm telling you from experience, they're going to tell you it's not. It is. So you might have to go off on your own and get those labs. Anybody could go in the lab and say, take my, give me some labs, take my blood work. You're just going to probably have to pay for it. Whereas maybe your insurance would have covered it if the doctor would order it, cover some of it. So again, you have to advocate for yourself, and that's it. That's all. That's all there is to say. You got to advocate for yourself. And we want to age like fine wine, and we want to have that longevity. That's the thing, the longevity. We want to age like fine wine. And I will say, looking good is good. It's great. But if you don't feel good and you look good, what good is that? You want to feel good. Feeling good, I think that's the number one thing. And when people say, I tell people, I say this to Mel or anybody I see, I see a lot of older women that are retired, my friends, and they look great. And I say, well, how do you feel? And they say, Shay, I feel good. And I'm like, it doesn't matter how you look, it's how you feel. Because I know this 80-year-old, she's, I had her son in 3rd grade. This was years ago. He graduated from high school here recently, but she used to get him up and get him walking. Do you know? And she moved to Vegas, and he went to Vegas. Now he was walking outside. So he was walking and sweating. And then he came back here to Ohio, and it's cold. You're not out walking as much, but she's still walking. I'm telling you, that lady is in her 80s, and she probably could beat me. She is out. She's walking. She's moving. She looks great. Her mind is together. That's how I want to age. I think that should be our goal on this GLP-1 journey is longevity and not just looking good like Mel to the beat, but feeling good, right? Feeling good. And that should be our goal. And it starts with our hormones, believe it or not. When you're a lady over a certain age, it starts with our hormones. It ends kind of with our hormones. And the whole intimacy, I think that needs a whole nother live, a DD After Dark on its own, because that is a huge topic. I know a lot of women suffer in silence. And
and their men suffer in silence because, you really have to say, men need to understand, if they're with a woman, her body changes, his body changes, right? But it is not fair to a husband, a partner, a girlfriend. Like if if you have a girlfriend, whatever, or a boyfriend, whatever it is, andropause and menopause are real. And your partner, it's not fair to them. So you do need to educate yourself and have conversations about how you can overcome whatever challenges you might have, because it is going to impact you one way or another, to me, in my opinion. Not a doctor.
Yeah, I can see the reverse too, where the spouse has that big beer belly and a lot of, fat around there. And he doesn't want to get it going either. So it's like, it can go both ways. You got to motivate each other. And that's why usually when one person gets healthy, the other person usually does, or it causes issues, right? Because, now you're healthy, you can move, you're, having energy and they don't. So I love when I see even the content creators out here, when I see their spouses or, partners on the journey with them. I think that's great.
That is good. Love it.
I love that. Well, Nell to the beat, thank you for coming. I mean, it was a great discussion. I love that we're talking about it. We're going to be talking about it more over the summer. We got to fit in when we're going to do this DD After Dark.
Yes,
and talk about the intimacy of it all.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you guys out there. Love y'all. And take care of yourself.
Is there anything that Sweet Tea came in? Sweet Tea. She said, y'all know I be in the bush. Thank you for coming. And with that, it's 10:17. Time flies when you're having fun. So we're going to see you guys on next Wednesday. Listen out for my video on Friday and Sunday. And have a great rest of your week. Thank you guys. Bye.